Are you listening?
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm your girl Shantae, and today in my world I am actually going to do a reaction video to a Netflix series that just aired on September 30th called American Murder: The Family Next Door. But before I get started, please make sure that you like this video, make sure you comment down below, and subscribe, guys. You know, I like when you subscribe because you come back and you see me. You never know what I'm gonna have in store for you. So please make sure you do all of those things so you can see your girl. But let's get into this. So the reason that even made me look into doing a reaction video was because one day I was on Facebook and I was scrolling down my timeline and I kept seeing this picture of this couple. And I'm like, I've never seen this couple before. I have no clue who these people are. So I just really didn't know what to expect. So I kept seeing multiple people put them up. And I was like, oh, it says that it's a documentary on Netflix. So let me go on Netflix and watch it myself. So I watched it and I felt like the series was good. I felt like Netflix did a good job of just allowing us to come into this family's life and see what they were going through. I feel like it's definitely a sad story, but it's a good story. So if you haven't seen it, I would definitely watch it. That's why I don't want to give you too much background knowledge of it because I don't want to tell the entire story. But of course, I do have to tell a little bit of it so that way you even understand why I have a reaction. So there was this couple named Shanann Watts and Chris Watts, and they had 2 kids. Bella was 4 and Celeste, also known as Cece, was 3. So they were a family of 4. They were in North Carolina and had moved to Colorado when they decided to get this house, have these careers that they wanted, and continue to build their family. So in North Carolina, that's where they had originally met because it was funny. Chris actually wrote Shanann on Facebook and sent her a request. So he sent her a request, she accepted it, and then he wound up reaching out to her via Messenger. And she just like, I'll go ahead and accept it. I'm never going to meet this person. We probably will never talk. So it's no big deal to me to just accept it. Actually, when they did that, they wound up speaking. They wound up getting together. And then 2 years later, they got married. So in 2010, he reached out to her. 2012, they got married. And then a couple years down the line, they had their 2 daughters. So they were in North Carolina when they got married. But like I said, they did move. So they moved out to Frederick, Colorado. So Chris had got this job at this company called Endarco. He was the operator. And then Shanann was a promoter for a nutritionist company called Lavelle. So that's what they were doing in Colorado. They were living their lives. They had this close-knit family, which they loved, and then they had their careers. It was throughout the years, everything was great. Shanann is a person that stayed on Facebook constantly. So she did live, she put up pictures. She always just let people know what was going on. She did that for her job because she was a promoter. And she also just did that for her family background, just because she loved to allow people to be in her world, share her experience and things that she went through with her family. So she loved it. Now, Chris didn't really get on her Facebook too much because he seemed like he wasn't really the type that likes to be in front of the camera. But she was. Her and her daughters loved it. So he was on there sometimes, but he wasn't on there a lot. And that was cool. We still knew who he was. And she still did pictures with him. And she still put them up. She still dedicated posts and different pictures and things to him. So we all knew who he was. So I'm like, okay, it's cool. I'm watching this Netflix. I'm like, what's wrong? Because something gotta be wrong. So like I was saying, you were seeing this close-knit family. They always was taking vacations. They had these kids. They just was excited. They were full of life. They had birthday parties. Everything was going good. And then it's a couple years down the line, things just started to switch up. So in the beginning of 2018, Shanann had told Chris she was expecting. So they were about to be a family of 5. And he was excited because they wanted another baby. And they actually wanted it to be a boy because they had 2 girls. So mind you, this was the beginning of the year when she wound up finding out. So okay, a couple months rolled past. Of course, she found out what it was, which was a boy. And they were excited about that. And it's things just after that had went downhill. And they were just getting weird. It's Shanann was getting less communication from Chris. He wasn't spending time with her. He didn't want to FaceTime really. He barely texted, talked on the phone, and he wouldn't have intercourse with her. So she just felt disgusted. She felt like something was wrong and she didn't know what was going on. So, she reached out to friends and tried to say, hey, I don't know what's going on with him. I don't know what's up. I tried to talk to him. He won't speak to me. So in that same year, she had took a trip down to North Carolina to visit family, like her parents, her brother and things like that. And she took the girls with her. She went for 6 weeks. And Chris was going to come down there, not right then and there, but he was coming down to spend some time, and then they could all fly back as a family. While she was down there, he barely talked, he barely FaceTimed, and he even barely spoke to the girls. So she just felt very upset that he didn't even feel as though he missed them. So, it was just like text messages going back and forth. He was claiming he was busy, he was tired, he was working, but really he just was being a miserable, nasty individual. When Shanann and the girls were in North Carolina, Chris was barely, like I said, responding, texting, FaceTiming the girls all day. She just felt like something was off. And Chris just, I'm working, I'm doing this, I'm busy, I'm sorry, I'll be down there soon. So he did wind up flying down with them, and they all did wind up coming back as a family, and things were still weird. So I guess at his work, he had wound up meeting this girl named Nicole Kessinger. She wound up becoming the girlfriend, which is like, honey, you're married. How do you get a girlfriend? But whatever. So, kind of to speed things up, he wound up getting his girlfriend. He was claiming that Shanann was no longer in the picture. It was just them going through it with their girls and trying to figure out what was going to be the outcome. And she just was like, well, if she's not in the picture, Nicole, she was saying, well, if she's not in the picture, then forget her. It could be about us. So on one occasion, before everything had happened, Shanann had to go on a business trip for her job. So Chris was going to be there with the girls. And one night, he asked the next door neighbor, can she babysit the girls so he can go out with Nicole? Boy, to be a cheater. So he took Nicole out on a date, came back to the house, act like nothing had happened. So basically, you could just tell he was, just off of his wife. He no longer wanted to be with her. So he was telling Nicole, like, I'm going to get a divorce from her. I don't want to be with her. I want to be with you. So, Shanann's still feeling a certain way. When she got back from the business trip, that's when all hell broke loose and everything changed. So basically, that's when this series really did 360. And I was like, oh my God. So basically, Chris wound up killing his entire family.
Yes, I said his entire family.
To be with this woman who knew she was a mistress because she wound up finding out that Shanann was in fact still in the picture. Which was just so sad. It's just sad that he felt like he couldn't just leave Shanann. No, he had to take her life and their 2 children's life and the unborn son. So really you took 3 kids' life so that you could be with this woman. And it was just so sad how he did it. So he waited till she came home from the out-of-town job she was doing. Her girlfriend dropped her off and waited till she came home. He strangled her and then he smothered the 2 girls. And it was so sad because he loaded them all 3 up in his truck, took them out to this field close to where he worked at. He buried Shanann, and then he dumped the 2 little girls in a sheet in the oil tank, a huge oil tank. Just ridiculous. So it's like, I just was pissed off when I was watching this because when she went missing and everything was going on, the police coming over, he had this smirk on his face like, she went on a play date. I don't know where she at. Mind you, her phone, the girls' car seats, and her car was still at home. So where is she going on a play date without them having their car seats or her taking her phone? Like, you have a family and you're pregnant. So you need your phone in case you have to call a doctor, in case you have to call Chris. And it was just so sad. When I first watched it, I'm like, the way he's talking, he wanted you to think like, he really was clueless. But really it just came out, once he was caught, once he took the lie detector test, once everything boiled down, he took the lie detector test knowing he was going to fail. And it wound up being that he killed his entire family just to be with this other woman instead of just being honest with his wife, like, hey, I'm sorry, I no longer want to be with you. I want to be with this other person. I'm not saying Shanann would have took it like Okay, that's fine. But she would have still, been able to deal with it eventually, because just because she was a wife and she had these 3 kids now don't mean that somebody else wouldn't have wanted her. Don't mean that she couldn't have got married again and somebody else would have fell in love with her. But he thought, if I get rid of them, then I really can be with this person. And it's like, that was just so sad. Like, you killed your babies, like your own family, like your own 2 daughters and your unborn son and the mother. You just killed them all so you could try to be with this person, just to fulfill a fantasy, just to fulfill how you were feeling sexually about this person. Like, it was disgusting. He was a fool. And now his foolish self is sitting in a cell for the rest of his life because he chose to take the lives of his family who he loved. I just couldn't believe that. So my entire reaction to it is just, I can't believe he was such a fool and was so stupid that he would risk everything that he had. You had the money, you had the family, you had the house. And you even had this girlfriend on the side. And it's like, instead of just being upfront with this person you have been with for 8 years, which you could probably tell anything to, you decided to kill her, take her away from her kids, who she loved dearly, as you could see on her Facebook, as you could see through the Netflix movie. She had them on camera. She had them in her video, on her live, everything, because she adored her family. And you decided to take her away. So it just made me mad. Like, I feel like I said, it was a good series because at the end of the day, Netflix, I believe, did a good job in allowing us to just see everything that happened. And like I said, if you haven't seen it, you should definitely watch it. It is sad, but they do a good job because they have real text messages. They have Chris showing us supposedly how he didn't know where they was, what was going on, and show flicks of course, Shanann being in the picture and things like that. So they did a good job, but to me, it just pissed me off because he didn't have to do all that. And I just feel like people are very selfish and they really don't think about things clearly. You thought you were going to kill your entire family to be with this woman, and then you're going to get away with it? Like, come on. And then Nicole Kessinger, which was the girlfriend, she wanted you to be with her and leave your wife, and she wanted to be a mistress so bad. Like, get your own man and make it make sense. So I just think they're both disgusting. I think it's ridiculous. And honestly, the death penalty was on the chart, like, for him. But I think once he pled out guilty, they took it off. But it's like, you took 4 lives and you still get to live. Now you just get to be in the cell for the rest of yours, but you still living. And I just think that's ridiculous. So that's why I was like, I think it's very sad. I think he should have never done that. But the thing was too, the reason I feel like he was going through all this, because when they first got together back in 2010, he had more weight on him. But I feel like after a while he started to feel himself because he wound up losing all this weight. So it's like, you feeling real good. You working out all the time. You got your stomach intact. You can build the muscles and stuff like that. So you feeling yourself. And now you feel like, I no longer want to be with my family. I want to be with somebody else. But just be honest. You could have let them live and have a beautiful long life, but you killed your own kids and your wife to satisfy another woman that you still can't even be with. So when you think about it, what was it all for? Now what? Now you just look like an idiot sitting in an orange jumpsuit in a jail cell or prison cell because you decided to take these lives and you still didn't get what you want. It would have been easier for you to just pack up all your stuff and leave, dummy. Like, I just don't get it. But like I said, that's basically my reaction. I think he's a fool. I think he's stupid. I really think he probably should have got the death penalty because you did a lot and you took a lot from a lot of people and it was not right. And it was your own kids. It ain't like these was people you didn't know. And Shanann always said he was a good father. He was a good father. He was a good husband. He was always there. He cared. He did X, Y, and Z. And it's like, look what it boiled down to in the end. And the fact that you took your babies and threw them in oil tanks like it was nothing. Ridiculous. So I just feel that he deserved what he's getting, even though he should have probably got the death penalty. He deserves to be sitting in a cell. He deserves to have no one. And he deserves to get whatever's coming to him, because that was sad and that was ridiculous and it was not necessary. And if he was smart, he would have just left. Guys, when people are showing you their true colors, it's because that's who they are. Don't brush it off and make it seem like it's a joke. Because things like this, as serious as this, can wind up happening. You, the whole time, was thinking like, oh, this person could never. But he had already been showing you the whole time he's capable. But like I said, the series was good. I thought it was I'm happy that they allowed us in. And I definitely feel like it's a sad story, but I definitely think it just makes people aware as well that's married, that got families and things like that. Because you just never know what people are willing to do and how low they're willing to stoop because of just trying to fulfill their sexual feelings for the next person. But like I said, he can rot in that prison cell because he's ridiculous. And he may not even make it, honestly. Because when people in jail or prison found out what you did, they don't like that. But guys, yes, this was my reaction to this series. Like I said, I think you all should watch it if you're capable of watching it. Some people don't like to watch things like that, but I like to watch crime and documentary and things like that. And like I said, it was good to me. I think Netflix did a good job. And again, it is called American Murder, The Family Next Door. So yeah, I didn't give you every single thing of it just because, like I said, I want you to be able to watch it and kind of just get more of the bits and pieces that I left out. But I hope you do watch, and if you do watch it, please comment down below and let me know what you all think. But guys, I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for tuning in. Bye.
Only place I wanna be is in Shantae's world. Only place I wanna be is in Shantae's world. Let's talk about it, Shantae. Let's talk about it, Shantae. Let's talk about it, Shantae. Don't talk about it, Shantae. Hey.